When raising her own children, Tutti ensured a better childhood for them than the one she experienced.
My name's Heidi Fishman, and my mother is a Holocaust survivor. When we were kids, if the topic came up and we wanted to ask a question, we'd ask a question, she'd answer it, and a discussion, move on. It was never told with a lot of emotion. It wasn't important. It wasn't center to who we were as a family or who she was. It was just one of those incidental things. My mom spoiled us. You know, anything she could do for us, she would do for us. And I have a feeling that's because she did with so little as a child that she did not want us to go with just a little. She wanted us to have everything we wanted. And when you're a kid, that's great. When you look back on it, you're like, maybe I should have done with less. The thing where it's the most pronounced is with food. Always enough food. Finish your plates. Don't waste anything. Leftovers got saved. And there's enough leftovers for a whole nother meal the next day and for everybody to take the leftovers home. Actually, when I was younger, I remember my grandmother saying, think about the starving children in Africa. It wasn't we didn't have enough to eat during the war. It was the current crisis of food in Africa that she would refer to. They made it not personal, but it was personal.
At one point, I was like 7 years old. I stood behind a gauze curtain and I had a stuffed animal in my hand, which was very bright and pink, and somebody grabbed it and said, that draws attention. And the big rule in those days were, don't draw attention to yourself. Fit into the masses and just disappear. Before we went to Theresienstadt, as my father had access to go out of the camp, he came back, it was my birthday, and he brought me a present. He brought me a doll. The doll has a solid body, but a ceramic head. And my father took me aside and said, look, Tutti, I'm taking the head off. They were valuables that he stuck in the doll's head, put the head back on again and said, this is your doll, but it's also your responsibility. Make sure nobody takes it. If a soldier wants to take it, make a big fuss. 9 years old, my responsibility.
When I had my own kids, I would have these thoughts of, here I am with a small child and I'm complaining about them fussing about something. What would it have been like for my grandmother to have a small child fussing about something, but they know there's Nazi soldiers right over there? It's heavy. This is my mother's when she was 10. When I was 10, I had a little book too that I brought to camp and people signed and wrote poems in it. But that didn't refer to wars and cattle cars and transports and watchtowers. And suddenly it's in perspective in a whole nother way. It's like, I'm so lucky and she went through so much.